Good afternoon, everybody. John Kelly, profiler here, and welcome to part two for a very sad story here. Who killed Rachel Morin? Very upsetting. At this point, I want to send out my deepest condolences and sympathies to her friends and family. Nobody should lose a loved one like this. No one. This is really evil at work. There's no question about it. Also, we're focusing on what kind of killer do we have here? What type killer? Okay, because that may lead us in the direction of who or she or who they may be, because we really don't have that pinned down yet, do we? I also want to send a shout out to my friend Tim Braun, homicide detective from North Jersey, retired, arrested Charles Cullen, the angel of death. And we'll put a link to his site up in the description. And, Timmy's got some trainings going on around the country. You may want to take a look at them. You can find them very interesting. And of course, the movie, The Good Nurse, which was out a little while ago, really featured Timmy as the arresting officer, him and his partner, Danny Baldwin, of the angel of death, Charles Cullen. Okay. Now, getting back to our case today and focusing in on who killed Rachel Morin, I mean, what we have to ask ourselves, and by the way, you guys sent over a lot of good feedback, okay? I mean, this is what it takes. A lot of brain power, a lot of heads going together. Some believed, it was, organized, premeditated. Some believed, that it was stranger, abduction. Some believed it was a female, not a male. I mean, this is really good stuff, okay? There's no wrong answers here. We're brainstorming. There are no wrong answers, okay? I just want to make that clear. So anyway, today I'm interested in what you guys think. Are we looking at an organized or disorganized nut butt? I mean, is this killer organized and had pre-planned this and had everything ready to go? Or was this disorganized and kind of sloppy and kind of, Rachel being a victim of opportunity and not just a target who was stalked for a while? So we want to play around with that and think about it back and forth. Was this organized by somebody who, had planned it and planned it well, or disorganized and somebody that didn't plan it so well but got lucky and maybe got sloppy? I believe they did get sloppy, to be honest with you. Okay. The other thing I want to bring up to you are previous murders. This may help you. Okay. One is the Central Park jogger who was not murdered. She was raped, but she was not murdered. Tricia Maley, I think I have Maley, I think I have that correct. And she was assaulted by a stranger, Manius Reyes. He confessed and he went away to prison. Okay, but he was a stranger, okay, to this jogger in Central Park. Going back a lot of years, some of you may not have even been around when this happened. Then the other one I want to talk about that I had involvement in with my Channel 9 News over in New Jersey was the Queens jogger, okay, Karina Ventrano, Karina. God bless these victims and their families and friends, and our deepest condolences. Even though these were a while ago, the hurt and pain still exists in the families. Take my word for it. Like I said, just there's no closure. Okay, no such thing. I mean, this leaves a perpetual hole in the heart of their loved ones and friends, and they may cope with it better over time, but that bit of a hole is always there. It doesn't go away. Okay, it never closes, so there's no closure. All right. So anyway, Reyes was a stranger, okay, for the Central Park jogger. With the Queens jogger again, Karina Vetriano, she was killed by another stranger, a Chanel Lewis, who pleaded guilty, and he's off to prison. Another case that I commented on with a great journalist, Kim Ring, with the Worcester Telegram and Gazette newspaper out of Worcester, Massachusetts. This was the Princeton, Massachusetts jogger, Vanessa Marcata. Marcata, I hope I have that right. And, certainly our deepest sympathies and condolences out to her family and friends as well. These joggers, Karina and Vanessa, were both jogging on various trails, and again were abducted and murdered. Vanessa was also by a stranger, okay? A stranger, Angelo Ortiz. He's away in prison in Massachusetts. He pleaded guilty. So out of these three that I brought up to you, the Central Park jogger, the Queens jogger, and the Princeton, Massachusetts jogger, I want you to know that they were stranger attacks and abductions, okay? And the two were murdered, the Queens jogger and Princeton, Mass jogger. The Central Park jogger survived, but was brutalized. So what you have to ask yourself, when we're looking at this case with Rachel Morin, was it a stranger? Could it be a stranger? Because these other cases were all strangers. However, they at that time did not have the media attention that Rachel Morin had through being on Facebook, different dating sites, and just being a well-known person out there, and having three different husbands, having 5 kids by 3 different husbands as well. So, like I said, the 3 that were murdered that I mentioned were all done by strangers, and none of them were planned. They were not planned, okay? This was just a predator out looking for a victim, and came across these folks at random as victims, okay? Just for a second, talking to my whole audience out there, especially the women, these predators are very afraid of cameras. So you're going to see more of this where they head towards the trails. They want a place and scope out a place where they can do an abduction and do their gruesome, horrific thing, rape or murder or both. And they want to make sure they're not seen. So they're going to look for a trail that's not really packed or crowded. They're going to look for certain points in that trail where they can pull off an ambush. But most importantly, they're keeping an eye out for cameras. They don't want cameras. This is why they've moved out of, urban areas and left the city. And because there's too many cameras, okay? And guess what the camera's? The camera's a witness. Camera's a witness. It's better than a human witness, to be honest. Because the camera doesn't make mistakes. It takes a picture. That's it. You know what I mean? Whether, people see things the same way or colors the same way or whatever, it doesn't really interfere with the camera. The camera, is a very, very good witness. And so they're looking for places where there's no cameras. I want to send out a lot of kudos to law enforcement in Maryland for putting the city deciding to put cameras all around the trail, and the way they're taking this on. They're taking this horrendous abduction and murder on with real passion and competence, and them spending the money for the ATV, the cameras, other security, having at least 10 detectives working the case. I mean, that's what we need. That's what we need on these cases. No question about it. Because we know if this was not premeditated, if this was not planned, if this was, some nut butt that was, just running around, and he's maybe started his career as a predator, you're going to have more bodies. You're going to know you're going to have more bodies. Okay, he's going to be trolling in various rural places where he doesn't think there's any cameras. So it's very important, and again, getting back to the women, especially here, that they take this into consideration and consider, even a body camera when they're jogging. Okay, because that can scare somebody off. If a predator has any ideas, he sees you wearing a camera, that can scare them off. Okay, even if it's a fake camera, he doesn't know it's fake, right? So, there's things like this. I think you should all be carrying mace. I think any woman that hikes the trails, especially in these days, or jogs, should have mace, anything to protect yourself. And, keep in mind that, the predators are really afraid of cameras. That's why they're out on the trails more or less right now, more than ever, because there's too many cameras in too many places and everybody's carrying a camera. But if they can do an ambush, get the jump on you, and keep you from using your camera, that's exactly what they have planned, and that's exactly what they'll do. So anyway, please give me some feedback on what we brought out today. This is short and sweet. We'll get back to you with more information as soon as more information is revealed. Again, this is part 2, and hopefully there won't be a part 3. Hopefully he'll be arrested by then, or part 3 will be the apprehension of this psychopath. Okay. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. God bless. And thank you so much. Stay safe out there.